What's happening?
What's up?
What's
How's it
going on,
going, guys?
YouTube?
Yeah, welcome back, guys. Welcome back.
Yo, happy post Super Bowl, Bobo.
Yeah, happy post Super Bowl, man. That was quite the freaking launch we had on the trailers. Like you said earlier, the commercials were kind of meh,
Yeah,
but the
yeah.
trailers were good.
And the game was good too.
Yeah, the
Did you get
game
to,
was good.
did you get to eat some good food during the game?
Well, I actually made some street tacos.
Oh, really?
My mom and my stepdad have this flat top grill, and
Did you make them Blue Goose style?
I did actually. That's actually ever since I've worked there. That's how I make them. Like from now on out. I mean, even
Yeah.
down to the marinade.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Next
And
time
so,
you have to.
go ahead.
Next time you have to invite me over for some street tacos.
Oh, dude, I'd love to, man. I'm always cooking over here, either over here at my mom and my stepdad's. But yeah,
Nice,
man,
nice.
and when it comes to food, there's no question on who's the master. Had to throw that in there because that's what you're watching, guys.
Yo, real talk, man. If I wasn't a fat Bobo, we would not be doing a movie channel together because I would be all about doing a food channel.
Oh,
Like I would be going out eating food at restaurants, film myself talk about food. I'd just be shoving food down my mouth for entertainment purposes for YouTube. But unfortunately, I'm too much of a fatso. I can't do it.
dude, that's why my mom, when she brought me, my mom just brought me this right here, some Williams and Sonoma peppermint bark, and it's freaking awesome. And look at this, we got Esmaniac quiz popping up there. There's definitely like a reason I don't keep sweets in the house all the time, because I'll just pile through it. Like gallon of ice cream, eat the whole thing, no problem. And it's like, so I just can't keep it in the house or I will just blow up.
Yeah, there's no way Kevin Smith is hosting a Super Bowl party because he's trying to impress the left wing Hollywood types these days. That's his new market. That's the only way he can stay relevant. So,
Hey,
they're anti-football, anti-concussion, so he's not going to watch that game.
Of course. Here we go.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, can't even get 10 minutes into the stream.
Hey, Esmaniac brought him up. I didn't bring him up.
Hey, Ezzy, thanks for joining, though, man. I know it's late over there. This is awesome that you're tuning in. I appreciate it, man.
And thanks for the props on the graphics as well.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much.
Well, Bobo, what do we have to talk about today? There's a lot to talk about, right?
Man, there is so much to talk about. I mean, look, do we want to go with news and go with some trailers
Let's
next?
talk about those trailers.
Dude, the trailer bowl?
Yes, sir.
I was trying to put it up. Oh, there it goes.
I think we kept clicking on it at the same time.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, my bad. Yeah, so you can click on that mess. So trailer bowl, dude. What right off the bat, I think that we can all say our number one trailer. It's right. He's very easy. I know it's Esmaniacs as well. It's Flash, no question. That trailer was effing incredible. I mean, am I wrong?
That trailer was great. Now I will say the only trailer that really got me more than the Flash trailer, that might have been the best trailer, would be the Jesus trailer for the Apocalypse.
Okay,
that seems so real.
Esmaniac. No, did y'all get that commercial over there? And also, I might be asking a dumb question, because is Super Bowl commercials, are they national? I mean, are they international no matter what because of what they cost?
I think
or
so.
Is it still regional and based on demographic? Now, I don't mean in America.
There are some regional commercials, like people in Minnesota aren't watching a commercial for My Channel 4 News, right? So there are definitely some regional commercials, but that's a good question. I wonder if you would assume that they're all the same commercials. I mean, they put up articles about the commercials, so
I'm just wondering if they got in the UK, if they got he says he saw it on the internet. He gets this. Yeah, God. It's so funny, dude. I could not help but just laughing my ass off the entire time when I saw that. I mean, and again, during the Super Bowl, it's like, I hate to say it this way, but like, know your audience.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you this. All the commercials, I know we're getting a little off topic. We will definitely talk these trailers. There's a lot to talk, but all the commercials sucked. With the exception of the Jesus commercial. It's like he's using Jesus has hired Sterling Cooper and Don Draper to do his advertising, and everybody else is left with all the scrubs. Good Mad Men reference.
It's one of those ones and when you're watching, you're like, man, this is a really good. Oh, it's a Jesus commercial.
Yeah. Yeah.
And look, I ain't hating on Jesus commercials. I'm not hating on them. It just, that's not what I subscribe to. And I can't help but laugh at it a little bit when they do it so seriously.
Everybody, you're allowed to be whatever religion you are or not believe. I don't care about that. I just know that was a fire commercial. And like, it's sad when the state of commercials come to the point where it's like, yeah, that was the only good commercial. It was well directed. The music was on point. It almost felt like a Marvel commercial, a Marvel trailer.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, what movie is this? Because it's like, is Marvel going back to serious tone? Yeah, and they are a big deal. You
Yeah.
have a question mark at the end of that, Ezzy. They're definitely a. I'd say that there's equal amount of people that watch the Super Bowl just for the commercials and the movie trailers. Maybe not equal. Maybe it's a little less. Maybe it's like 60% for the sports alone, and then there's 40% of the people that are like only tuning into the Super Bowl for the commercials. And that's the only reason. Super Bowl is the only game that I actually make a point to tune into, and it's the only game that I'll really watch the full game. If there's some game playing at my mom and my stepdad's, I'll do that as well with them. But usually I'm eating over there or something. But the Super Bowl is the game that I will watch from start to finish, and it's
There's
mainly
some classic commercials from back in the day. Terry Tate, office linebacker.
oh, dude, when he would like rail into people, and then he would just be like, "Don't put the password in the fax machine,
Yo,
Dan."
you remember that Fiat Aberrath commercial from way back in the day with a hot chick? I wish I could remember the name of that model.
I'm not sure. It's not coming like immediately to me, but
Yeah, there was some yeah, there's been some great commercials, man. Yeah, Super Bowl commercials used to be fire, but this year it seemed like they just gave up. You know?
yeah, no, I mean, and as he's saying that they have the Christmas commercial things over there. I mean, we do have Christmas commercials here, but there's not like over here with the Super Bowl where it's like a one slot, one payment for one slot during one event, and then they'll air them after the fact later on, but like what you're paying for is that Super Bowl slot, you
Yeah.
know. So I just think that that's kind of yeah, I don't know. I mean, I bet you it's the same way with like the World Cup and for major soccer games or football games in other countries.
I'm
But
putting up the name of the model so you can see the model I'm talking about from the Fiat commercial. It's going in the chat. Check her out. I don't know if what she looks like now because this commercial came out a while ago, but that was a great commercial. There's been some bangers, but there were some good if there were some saving graces for the Super Bowl commercials, it's what you brought up earlier with the trailers, man.
dude,
Flash was definitely the best one though.
and the Flash was what in the end of the first quarter or the beginning of the second quarter that they showed it.
Yeah.
And
So here's the thing: does it not still look like a Snyderverse movie though? It's got the same gray palette,
no, I felt it was
grayscale.
I felt it was a little more colorful. I do feel like they were using that palette a little during the daytime, but I also think that's because Batman was involved. Like I don't think that. And here's the deal: Ezzy and I were talking about this. Batman is in daylight in this one. The Michael Keaton Batman, it seemed like he was in daylight. Now, maybe not. Maybe that was Batfleck because they're both in this.
Yeah, that I feel like the bike was definitely Batfleck. It's
Okay.
that bike. There's no way that's Michael Keaton.
That makes a little more sense, and we've seen that. And so, if that's the case, then I could see why he's trying to connect Batman during the day to make it look a little drab. But other than that daytime stuff, it didn't really look Snyderversey to me.
I thought, well, you know what? Maybe I'm thinking the scene was odd.
But even then, I felt like that was more colorful. Felt like the sky was more blue. Because look, I mean, maybe this is not a telling shot right here because there's smoke everywhere. But now, okay, while we've got this shot up, is this a different Zod? Or
it's Michael Shannon.
No. What I'm saying is this for example, there's two flashes in this that both are Ezra.
Oh, gotcha.
So is this a different Zod? Because it's Supergirl fighting him. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. It's Supergirl fighting him. So, and again, they've done a little bit of a swap here with this Supergirl with being brunette.
Yeah, I just realized that this is a Supergirl they set up in the Man of Steel, and we never find out what happens to her. So basically, what we're maybe thinking is in the real timeline, she gets shipped off to some military compound, and she just stays there. And Superman never comes and rescues her because in this one, she's in a military compound at the beginning of the commercial. And Barry is the one that rescues her, right?
Okay, yeah.
So the regular timeline, is she just stuck in that freaking military compound for the rest of her life?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I
guess we'll find out.
This even looks like a moment that could be from Man of Steel, like a side moment, or so. I don't know, but they are going to be messing with time in this completely. So I didn't realize that they're making this so much of a team up movie. Yeah, it is about Flash, but it looks like it's equally about Batman and Supergirl.
All right, man, be real. What did you think of Michael Keaton Batman?
I thought it was great. You
Did
didn't
he
like
not
it?
look a little less imposing than he did back when we were kids?
I think when he's making the smirk a little bit, there did that for the trailer, maybe a
Yeah.
little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if that moment's not in the movie.
Do you think Flash will become second fiddle a bit like Captain America in Civil War? That's a very good question, Asmaniac, and I got that feeling.
That's what I mean by Supergirl maybe kind of taking a little bit of the reins of this film.
Well, I mean, he's very much the focal point of the commercial, but I think he's become the focal point in that he's a little bit of, in some moments, he's the lens for the viewers, right? He's kind of the passenger, it seemed like, in some of those scenes. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, listen, it wouldn't hurt them to have as little Ezra Miller as possible in this movie. Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, and I again, I wouldn't be surprised if somehow or another they're going to use this movie to just change everything, and therefore, I don't know, it could be something where he sacrifices himself for another timeline, and next thing you know, in this another timeline, we've got a Wally West that exists, and not a you know what I mean? They could do all kind of stuff to get him out of here, because we don't know if he's going to behave or not. But as far as Michael Keaton and the bat suit and everything, obviously this is old, Photoshop stuff right here, just put together. But I like I said, in Iron Man, the first trailer we saw, when you see Iron Man flying in between the two jets and he looks left and right, and then he just goes Mach 3 and then he flies off, that specific scene's not in the movie. And so I wouldn't be surprised if this scene where he does the little smirk, yeah, I'm Batman, that actually might not be in the movie. I feel like that could be just for the trailer. Maybe not.
He's definitely playing older Batman, right?
I think so. I don't think that we're jumping in right after Batman Returns.
I would, from what I'm thinking of that scene, I don't think they just kind of go straight in the cave. I think they meet Bruce first, then they go down in the cave, and then he comes out full cowl.
I've seen pictures of him online as Bruce, and he's older Michael Keaton. Now, he's not as old as he is now. They gave him a little more hair like he had in the original movies. It's just gray. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he is older in this film, no question.
I just think the suit looks a little dated now. Like back in the 80s, it looked cool, the rubber suit, right? Now it looks a little dated, right? So when I saw it pull back, that's all I noticed is like, oh man, that suit it doesn't look as cool as it used to.
I don't know. I got all the feels from it, man. And maybe I've watched it about 3 times now. And so maybe I'll put it on the big screen tonight and really try to analyze the suit. But I mean, I'm just freaking stoked, dude. And look, my favorite Batman of all time is in this, Batfleck. So like, he says he looks a bit pants.
Yeah.
That's funny. Hey, look, you guys can naysay it. That's fine. I'm excited about Batfleck and about what are we going to call Michael Keaton? We got to call him.
Remember when Kevin Smith was dressed as Batman? All right, sorry, love, couldn't resist.
Yeah,
I don't remember because I'm trying to block that movie out of my mind.
Yeah, remember and Jay goes fly, fat man, fly, or fly, fat ass, fly is what he says. Fly.
Yeah, now he does a podcast called Fat Man.
Yeah, that's why I got it mixed up.
Cashing in on man, go back and watch that movie, Asmaniac, and just tell me how bad it is when you go rewatch it. I just want you to do that. Let's see if you can even last through the whole movie.
I'll put it on the night. But look, this right here has just got me excited because we saw a whole scene where it has the Batwing flying with Supergirl next to it flying, and Flash is in there taking pictures and selfies and stuff. I mean, look.
That's where our future kids. And didn't you think when he said that, you're like, I don't know, man. She might be a little old for your taste.
He's like, I'm thinking about taking it to another.
She's like 20, dog. Isn't that a little out of your age range?
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. I guess that is breaching to the old lady point for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hey, look, moving on. We think Flash looks great. I mean, overall, I think that's for me. That's probably the most excited for any movie I am this summer, with this one being the second excited, just because of the love I have for the original 3. And I do have a lot of Mangold.
We got one of those trailers. We got a trailer for Indy, right?
Yeah. So. And again, look, I'll tell you this, for this trailer, all it did was show more of what you saw they showed you what you saw in the first trailer, and then they started showing you more of like Indy's kind of Indyisms. Yeah. Like it shows him like put a hat in front of a guy's face and then punch it and doing more stuff like that.
Who falls for that trick?
Hey, Indy.
Like you're the worst villain of all time if you get distracted by someone putting a hat in your face. Somebody puts a hat in my face, I'm immediately swatting that shit away. This guy just stands there like an idiot looking at what are you staring at inside that hat that's got you so mesmerized?
Right. Now, look, could this be a flashback scene that they're in? Because that's the kind of stuff they did in Raiders.
Yeah, I don't
He'd
know,
like he'd
man.
like point the other direction. They'd look, and then he'd punch him.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, listen, that scene needs to be in there, obviously, because it's an indie movie, and this movie's gonna be all about nostalgia. I mean, you just saw it from a trailer; it pretty much just spelled out for you, like this is a nostalgia movie. That's either gonna go one or two ways, though, man.
Oh yeah, there's no question that this is like, it was pretty good. It's either going to be, man, they did it, or they didn't. They missed the mark. It's going to be one of those two. They
Yeah.
either they either hit their mark and yes, you made it, or you missed it completely.
Now, every time I want to hit on this movie, though, you keep reminding me who the director is, and I relent. I'm like, okay, I got to give that dude a shot,
And look, I love the fact that he threw Boyd Holbrook up in there. Like after he worked with him on Logan, he's just like, what do you agreeing with Anshul about?
Probably about
Indy
the fact
5?
that the dude got mesmerized by a hat. And he's
Oh,
sorry
yeah,
late
yeah.
ass villain.
Yeah, hey, look, you and Ezzy, y'all are very similar, man. Y'all have a lot of approaches on stuff like that y'all would agree on. But I do like that they're playing up the fact that he is old in this. So they're not going to try to make him like do just extravagant things. Like I wouldn't mind seeing him.
He's hanging out a plane in one scene.
Well, but we'll
Yo,
see.
Have your grandfather hang out of a plane and see how that goes.
Hey, Jack LaLanne was a real guy. I don't know if you remember Jack LaLanne.
No, I have no idea who that is.
He was in his late 70s and he was like water skiing and doing like backward flip jumps with round ramps. He was like that crazy. Remember the Juice Tiger?
Was he an archaeologist?
He always wore yellow. And he was all about the Juice Tiger, and he had like a little mustache, and he was like, yeah, and he'd do like high kicks.
You watch way too much Wild World of Sports, Doc.
Dude, I'm having really extreme deja vu right now. It's really crazy. So, all right, moving on to a couple more trailers. Obviously, the Quantumania thing is in there. We're all excited about that, but that can make us take a little side dip into another topic while we're talking about the Quantumania trailer.
Sure.
I'm really excited about this one because I do love 1 and 2. I think Peyton Reed kind of gets a grip on the character, and I love Paul, and I love Jonathan Majors. So that alone's got me stoked, and it seems like they're taking a more serious tone. However, by the looks of what's been said, it's not looking all that good.
Boy, it is officially rotten, folks.
Man, what 58% is what it was?
Yeah. Now here's the thing where it gets kind of tricky because rotten or fresh, right? You could be a critic and say, I give it 3 out of 5 stars, and it may be counted as rotten, it may be counted as fresh. That's why a lot of those, a lot of times you see a movie that's 98% fresh, and you think that it's universally loved, but most of those reviewers might have just barely given it above board grade, So it doesn't necessarily always equate to the quality of the movie. With that being said, though, we have our doubts about the veracity of some of these reviews, don't we, Bobo?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you were saying it right before we got on, and I agree with you. I don't think that they're giving these movies a fair shot anymore because I think they're just trying to please other people. They're not. I don't even know if they're actually telling the truth of how they feel.
As Maniac says, accept it, guys. Marvel is over, and you might be right. As we're gonna go watch the movie. I'm watching it Thursday. What about you, Bobo?
Oh yeah, I've got my tickets.
Yeah. So we'll let you know. We'll let you know the truth because here's the deal with critics, like your boy Kevin Smith. They've all become about themselves and about furthering their career. And so right now there are a lot of creatives that they like, that they want to impress, they want to get in their good graces. They're coming out against Marvel. And those creators are doing it obviously because they're not seeing money for their movies. And so it's just basically all, positioning for them to be able to get the funding for the types of movies that they can / want to make. And I think a lot of times these critics and getting their good graces will go ahead and just gear their reviews to what they think is trending with that type of group. And a lot of them are honestly just sheep too. And so they're just going to go with the trends anyway, because if they really had self-esteem, they'd create something instead of just write about it. Like my boy Bobo here, right?
Hey,
I'm more along the lines of them. He's one of the creatives, but I just like to talk shit. I just like to talk that noise. With that being said, though, we don't want to try to have agendas on this channel. So we'll watch it. We'll let you guys know what we think. I am excited for it because it does look dope. But
and from what I understand, this is going to be really, contrary to a lot of the movies we've seen from Marvel in this last phase. this one is actually going to be setting a lot of groundwork for the future of what's going to happen in some big event movies. So that I'm excited to see what they're going to implement. And we've heard that the 2 post-credit scenes are good.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I mean, one thing that all the reviews say is Jonathan Majors kills it. Right now, once again, it might be along those similar lines, a similar vein of we can't criticize Jonathan Majors, so we're just going to say he killed it. But judging
They
by
nailed the costume, dude.
judging by the costume, judging by the trailers, and judging by his track record, it's hard for me to think that they didn't nail it. Bring back Thanos. They had lost to that guy. I don't know. I mean, like, they had some bangers before Thanos came in the picture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, here's the deal, and I'm as don't take this the wrong way, but I think Thanos is to be the only major Marvel villain because you've only really found this out through watching the films. There's way bigger and other villains than Thanos.
Who's the
Thanos,
villain you want to see?
Man, I mean, I was looking forward to sort of the
right answer. Let's see if you say it.
Or Galactus?
No, Galactus is hard to pull off, man.
But I mean, he's there.
He listen, the comic fan's wet dream, but like, I would say no, just because I'm afraid that's so easy to screw up. I wouldn't know how to do it.
Well, okay, so you're asking me what villain I want to see outside of we know outside of Kang and outside of Thanos. I mean, major villain.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wanted to see Nightmare, kind of.
Here's a hint: we've seen him before.
We've seen him before.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me.
Doom.
Oh, yes. Well, of
Doom
course.
Done right is the best Marvel villain.
Yeah, you're
Hands
right.
Down.
You're right. I don't know why I haven't thought of that yet, but Doom has got to be in Secret War, and Fantastic Four has to come out before Secret War. It has to, right?
Well, the Secret Wars are basing off the Brian Hitch run that Doom is the central villain, but they can always make changes. They have done it before, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like Secret Wars, that's people are going to talk about piss a bunch of fans off. Holy shit.
Listen, Dooku could have been great. That's the great Christopher Lee, man. It just they just didn't put him in the movie enough.
Oh, well, here's the deal. Darth Maul wasn't great because he got killed at the beginning.
Yeah.
You know? So it's the same.
He got sliced up.
Look, I'm telling you, man, there are some awesome villains in the Marvel universe. And again, Thanos hasn't always been around. Mm-hmm. You know? He's not.
We did get to see, going back to trailer talk in the, well, I guess you missed the Guardians commercial.
I did, and I wanted to see it, but I did miss it.
We get a little bit more of the High Evolutionary.
Okay, yeah, that's well, and we're gonna get I think with Adam Warlock being in there. Okay, what about Nova? You think we're gonna see Nova at all? Because they do mention the Nova Corps somehow or another. I feel like
they were shown in the commercials.
They mentioned, or no, I gotta rewatch.
Anilus is another good villain, though. That's why I think you need to make Disney Plus be the cosmic universe stuff that attaches to movies, and just go all out that way. Have it be the sci-fi. Have Anilus come in. I mean, you got a lot of great Marvel cosmic villains that have never hardly been touched.
Talking about like the Annihilation.
But you know what I'm saying?
You're talking about the Annihilation story.
Yeah, Annihilation Wave.
Yeah,
that's a great story, man.
Yeah, you're right. But I mean, I think they still have a lot of time to do with Kano, or a lot to do with Kanos. Kang. I was thinking about all these villains together.
Yeah.
I think they still have a lot to do with Kang. And look, I think that when we see Jonathan Majors on screen, and again, not that Josh Brolin wasn't great as Kang, he was. But I think that once we see this guy showing his chops and salivating when he's screaming out and just chewing the scenery, delivering lines, I think that we're going to be like, all right, Kang, get you in here, because that's what we need. We need to actually know the villain. We don't need to just have a villain introduced and let's fight him. One of the cool things about Thanos is that he was so built up by the movies that finally when he comes in and he makes that first appearance, when you see him like just appear in front of Hulk and they have that fight and he just beats Hulk ass on the ship, and you're like, oh man, that's what we need, and I think they can do that with Kang and other villains. You just have to get to know them.
What about bringing back Red Skull? Because that's another great Marvel villain that they kind of honestly dropped the ball on.
Well, but they didn't. That was because Hugo Weaving didn't want to do it. And so they were just like, he was such a big part of pulling that role off and making.
Well, I'm not saying it's their fault, but it definitely got dropped, right? The ball got dropped, whether it's their fault or not.
Yeah, no, I mean, even the Russo brothers were just like, we knew we had to pull Red Skull in there somehow in the Endgame and Infinity War. We just didn't know how to do it. And this is the best our guys could come up with. But yeah, he still needs to. I mean, if they can do the multiverse stuff, especially if you bring Cap and Iron Man back in the Secret War, which is going to happen, you know,
Yeah.
if that happens, you got to have some Red Skull involvement. I mean, you're right; he's a threat.
Also, probably the best villain that they have that they really dropped the ball on was Ultron.
Yes, they portrayed him well, but he was just beat too easily. He was just in and out too quick. I felt like that James Spader's voice on him and everything was well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know what though, this as Maniac, to your point, this is what they're doing with Kang. They're building up over multiple properties, right? They're not just. I mean, he's going to be a big part of Quantumania, but the great thing about Kang having a time traveling villain is you can have multiple versions till you get to your end game version, so you can have your cake and eat it too. You couldn't really do that with Thanos.
And I guarantee you that before we have Kang Dynasty, we're going to have Loki season 2, which he's got to be a part of that, right?
Yeah, he's definitely a part of it, right?
Because I mean, he was a part of the first one. So
yeah, and you got Ramona Renslayer, which is the whole reason he does what he does in that.
So I think we're going to get to know Kang just like we knew Thanos. The thing with Thanos is he was introduced as a teaser for 10 years. And then we start seeing him at the end in these movies. Whereas it'll be more like 4 years. We'll be seeing Kang in character with lines, not just teased at the end of movies. You know what I mean? And he'll probably be in some post-credit scenes here and there of other movies. I wouldn't be surprised,
Agree. I hope they don't beat him in this movie though, because I think that kind of takes away from it a little bit. Like, even if you're going to say, hey, next Kang is going to be a different, better version, seeing him get beat would, I think, kind of lessen the impact to casual audiences.
What I suspect will happen in this is that they destroy his empire of the Quantumania that he's built, and he's just sort of like kind of lost and floating in it again, like Ant-Man was in the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp and at the beginning of Endgame when they bring him out. You know what I mean? I feel like that it's going to be something like that. Like, I agree with you. I don't think they're going to actually just beat and kill him. They might win the battle, but I don't know if I think he'll be alive.
Yeah, I think he needs to take some sort of victory, whether it's killing Scott.
He needs to become
killing Janet, killing Hank, something.
Well, do you think he'll kill Scott?
Well, somebody's going to die. And if I had to put money on it, everybody's saying Scott. If I had to put money, it's going to be Hank and or Janet. It's hard enough to get Michelle Pfeiffer to do a movie anyway. They're probably just amazed that they got her to do these two without her just 86ing. So they'll probably be like, let's just kill her. Let's just kill this bitch while we got a chance.
What and I'm drawing a blank on his daughter's name.
Cassie? No, Cassie's
no, not Cassie. The Wasp.
Oh, Janet?
No, but that's the mom's name, right?
Or I'm sorry, you're right. I forget her name.
I can't. Why am I drawing a blank on her name? Even in real life, I'm drawing a blank on her name.
Yeah, we all know the chick from Lost.
Yeah, I love her, Evangeline Lilly.
Yeah,
in real life. But why am I drawing a blank? Anyways, do you think
she'll die? With you? I don't really love that character. I thought it was way better than Ant-Man 1. It's a foil to.
Well, no, I love her. I kind of got annoyed with like how she was all of a sudden a badass way more in part 2 than in part 1.
Thank you, Ez.
Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so in Ant-Man 1, she was kind of funnier because you knew she was better than Scott, and she was having to watch this dude be the superhero and screw up, and then she comes to accept him in the end. I don't think it was any fun watching her actually put on a suit and actually be better than Scott. Because then the whole time you're thinking like, why is this dude Scott even here? What are you doing? Why even have this guy in the suit? He sucks at everything. She's so much better than he is,
I don't know. I thought it was still there in the second one. It was just much more that she knew what she was doing with her suit and his suit, and then he was just like, wait a minute, I don't have those, and like I don't know. I still like that.
He's a bumbling idiot in the second one though.
I didn't like the portrayal of Ghost, and I thought that was just a little. I don't know. What I like about these Marvel movies and like Ecclesi said it the best is like these villains, you actually get into the villains a lot of times. And when you don't, it's just like, okay. And with her, I just didn't get into the character. I don't know. And the fact that they made Goliath a bad guy, that was kind of, I didn't like that. And I don't know, but overall I still enjoyed it. Didn't like it quite as much as the first one, but this one looks like it's totally different than those two feel connected. This one looks totally different.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Moving on. Rise of the Beast trailer. I have the same feeling about it. That I hope it's good.
Looks so bad.
That's what I'm saying. I hope it's good. Did they need to make that? Probably not. I'd rather just them continue on the Bumblebee storyline, which I don't know. At this point, I can't tell if they are or aren't with this actual.
Michael Bay, quit trying to be cool. Why do you always have these Transformers that are trying to act cool that it's so lame, my guy?
But he has nothing to do with this movie. Just
Dude,
like Bumblebee.
I don't know who is this dude that's doing the movie.
I'm not sure, but yeah, Michael Bay has they haven't let him do anything after the fifth one. They got rid of him doing stuff. Bumblebee was Travis Knight, and I'm not sure who this one is.
Yo, I mean, seeing a Transformer trying to dap a dude up, that's like me walking to a high school trying to act like I'm I'm chill, like I'm one of the dudes walking up dapping people down the hall. Get the hell out of here, you old man. What are you doing?
But to be fair, didn't the humans kind of try to teach them stuff in the cartoons?
Come on, man. Are you really gonna try to justify that dap?
I'm just saying.
Are you a dap justifier now?
Hey, I'd still dap. I still don't mind the dap.
Hey, we can dap. I don't want to see Transformers dapping people up.
So, well, look, I will say this. I don't have high hopes, but I do hope. Like, I hope it's good because I want it to be good.
Bring Shy. That's real talk, as Maniac.
Hey, bring Shy back for what? Transformers or this one right here?
Definitely not that one right there. Yo, I mean, even if you just have him screaming, "Do it" at the screen,
do it.
Bring back Megan Fox while we're at it. We don't love any of these other hoes. Megan Fox was the one Transformers girl we cared about.
I like the girl in part 3, but obviously not as much as I love Megan Fox. And then part 5 or part 4 and 5, it was just totally different cast,
Yeah.
But again, I want to see the movie.
Like the cast is the problem.
Right. No. Again, 4 still pretty good. 5 was God. Like it's like, what are y'all doing? But we're getting off track. I want to see the Cybertron movie they're talking about doing. That's going to be like at the beginning of Bumblebee, it was all CG and they were on Cybertron. They're talking about doing a whole movie of that. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, that Haley Steinfeld Transformers movie is the only good one.
Yeah. No, that was one in that one. One and Bumblebee are the best two.
I enjoyed one at the time because I went in there with low expectations, but it's such a mess, man. The action scenes are such a mess. The Transformers don't look like my Transformers, so I don't get that hint of nostalgia.
Sure, they definitely don't look like our Transformers, and
right.
They do in Bumblebee at least.
Right, exactly. And just that nostalgia is sometimes enough to get you to buy into a silly movie.
Yep.
You know?
No, you're right.
And that first one didn't have it for me. So, all right. Well, what's next on the agenda, Bobo?
Yeah. So, honestly, I think we had some other things in the news that we were wanting to get to, because other than that, like the only other trailers I saw all the other trailers I saw were just kind of, I've seen that. But the Flash one was the one that really was just like, whoa, this is amazing. We seen the Fast X one. We even talked about that one. All right. So now you want to do this Deadpool versus Princess Di.
Yeah.
So what's going on here? Tell us about this.
So Emmy Corrin from a couple of shows that I'm now blanking on, one of them about the royal family, has been cast to play a villain in Deadpool 3. She also played Princess Diana, right? So,
and you can, when you say that, you can totally see it right there.
Yeah, exactly. I almost put a picture, or I send you a pic of her playing Princess Diana, but I figured people would know. People would think that maybe Princess Diana was going to be in the Deadpool movie. They didn't. But yeah, maybe she will play Princess Diana. That'd be hilarious if Deadpool had to fight Princess Diana. That'd be so on brand for Deadpool.
Leave it to those writers.
Yeah.
Now, do we know who the director of this movie is going to be? Because it's the first two were two different directors.
Yeah, no idea.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they're going to go back to the Victor Miller, the first guy, and the second guy was the same guy who did like, I think it was Ruben Fleischman, something like that. I think. Anyways, yeah, I'm curious to see if they're going to go back to the Victor Miller guy, because I think everybody likes the first one better. I love the second one, but I do think the first one is better. Yeah,
I think they try to humanize Deadpool too much in the second one. A lot of speculation is that Emmy is going to be playing the Danger Room from the Joss Whedon run, I believe, or the Danger Room becomes sentient and it's a female and it tries to kill the X-Men.
Oh, I remember that.
Yes. So that's speculation.
Yeah, that was when White Queen was all like, Cyclops, you my dude.
Yeah, dude. That was before we realized what a piece of shit Joss Whedon was. Remember those days when you could just love Joss Whedon without feeling guilty about
Right.
it?
I remember like seeing the Wolverine claws on the front of that uh Astonishing X-Men. It's all black,
Yeah.
just the cover, and it's just those claws sticking up. I remember seeing that, and it's saying Whedon and Cassidy, and I just remember the art, and I was just like, oh,
Yo, that scene where Cyclops or not Cyclops, Colossus comes back and he just screams, "I am Rage," and he beats that dude down. Who would have known that's how Joss Whedon treats his actresses? Like,
yeah.
that's probably a real life thing that happened with one of his actresses.
Oh, Jossie Whedon.
Hey,
We're gonna
man.
call him Jossie Whedon from now on.
Yeah.
I wonder if he likes being called Jossie.
Well, he probably likes being called anything as long as you call him to give him a job, because I don't think he's getting many these days.
Yeah, it's funny when we live in a world, where Louis C.K. can be a weirdo with, being like, "Ooh, watch me do this."
Yeah.
But you know what? He's slightly creeping his way back in to
Oh,
the
yeah,
pop
yeah.
culture. I've seen him
Oh,
on
he
some
was just on my
stuff.
brother's podcast. He did a movie with a comedian called Joe List that came out like 4 or 5 months ago. And it was supposedly a good movie. It was like a independent release. I can't remember the name of the movie. I think it's 4th of July is the name of the movie.
Okay.
But anyway, so yeah, he
Whedon's
was on the
gone
podcast.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I don't see him sneaking back in.
Well, he's made a little bit of a comeback now. He's like I said, he's doing a lot of stuff behind the cameras, but he's definitely doing interviews and stuff again. It seems like people have forgiven him.
Whedon?
Whedon's gone. Yeah.
No, that's what I said. I
Yeah.
said Whedon. I don't see him
Yeah,
coming back.
you can't be as verbally abusive as he was and get away with it. Like all the
Yeah.
stories that have come out. Like what was that one young actress from Buffy where they're like the producers had to come and basically say, like, listen, you're not allowed to be in the same room with this girl because that's
Yeah,
how mean he was to her.
It's
And
like who are you, dude? Like this is like that's like psychopathic,
yeah, when Sarah Michelle Gellar comes out, you would have thought that would have been the one person to defend him, but when she came out, she was like, yeah, he was a piece of crap. I love being Buffy, but I hate being called Joss Whedon's Buffy. That's that's when you knew. And Charisma Carpenter also has all these horror stories about him calling her fat. Like this girl was hot as hell back in the day.
Jeez, dude.
She was like a number one on a lot of our lists, and this dude was just constantly berate her for being quote unquote fat.
And it's like I want to be like, Jossie, look at yourself, dude. I mean, you're not anything to
real.
write home about.
Yo, man, he looks like a pimple on my ass. You know what I'm saying?
Give it to him.
Like every time I see him, I just want to pop him.
Yeah,
just like watch all the pus come out.
Oh,
Joshy, you're an ugly dude, Joshy. You shouldn't be commenting on anybody's looks. You know what I'm saying? It's me. I'm sure you got made fun of a lot when you were a kid because you look like a lump of shit. All right, okay. You look like a lump of shit. If shit had like albinism, if there were like albino shits out there, that's what you would look like.
His name is going to be Puss Whedon.
Yeah, for real. And that's not nice. All the stuff I said wasn't nice. See, how's that make you feel, Josh?
Yeah, Jossie.
I call Colleen fat every day, and she loves it.
Yeah, look at him go.
That's different, though.
Is she watching this with you right now?
If it's dirty talking in the bedroom, that's different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Puss Whedon. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, Puss Whedon. That's his name.
Yeah, he looked like a Rick and Morty character, though. You know what I'm saying?
He truly does, man. Yeah. He's got a goofy cartoon look. Yeah. So, anyways, so no more Joss
It's
Whedon.
Good for you that she's not there to hear you call her fat. Yeah, your Valentine's Day do they celebrate Valentine's Day across the pond? By the way, I'm sure they do. I'm sure you guys are commercial as hell, just like we are over here. Yeah. It would not be a fun Valentine's Day for you if she heard that, though, my guy.
No. What? But you know what's funny though? Colleen is funny. She got a sense of humor though, so I could see Ezzy being like, "Shut up, fatty." And maybe if it was in the right context.
It's always funny until it's not funny with them.
You know what I'm saying? Until someone gets hurt.
Yeah.
So moving on, man, I want to talk about this. You had some Fantastic Four stuff to talk about.
Oh, okay. Yes. We can go ahead and move forward to that.
Well, what was the Anteater?
Well, we were just talking about Ant-Man reviews, which we already kind of touched on. So
yeah. Oh, yeah.
We can also talk about this one, Vigilant, because despite the negative reviews, it's not necessarily hurting expectations for Ant-Man's opening weekend. I don't know if you saw that note.
No, everybody I know is going to see this movie. So now this could be the thing like Thor: Love and Thunder. Everybody went to go see it opening weekend, but after that, nobody was going to see it anymore. So we'll see. I do think that Paul Rudd has a little bit more of a spread out draw than Chris Hemsworth. I think Chris Hemsworth does have a draw to him. People will go see movies that he's in, but Paul Rudd has sort of become like this guy that everybody loves.
Yeah, it's family friendly guy. I mean,
Yeah.
listen. So I saw this tweet on Discussing Films, and they sometimes tweet out some garbage. So this is take this with a grain of salt. Salt shaker, Salt Bay. This is take it with a grain of salt section. That's right. It's tracking, according to Discussing Films, it's tracking to earn $280 million on its opening weekend.
Wow,
sounds like a big number.
That is a big number, but
would that be a record breaking number?
For a Marvel opening film, or just a movie in general?
Yeah, movie in general. What's the record opening?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the record is. I feel like that Avatar 2 actually would beat that. But I also know that
Avatar 2's opening weekend wasn't that big. It just had legs. It didn't drop off that much, you know?
Yeah. For some reason, I thought it was big.
It was like over 100 million, but it wasn't like some of those, record-breaking, record-smashing.
Spider-Man movies are big. No Way Home, I bet, was a big one.
I'll be amazed if it reaches that figure. Well, I mean, 200 million, that's a big number. I wouldn't.
I also think that there's a chance, again, depending on what happens at the end of this movie, could be where some of the buzz goes off and being like, yo, what happens in this movie? You got to go see this, man. Like sometimes if it's something that's pivotal that happens, I think, talking about spoiler alert, if you haven't seen No Time to Die, I think part of the reason that movie did well is because word got out. It's like, yo, not only is it Daniel Craig's last movie, but Bond dies in this one. I think people were like, wait, what? Because that's never happened in a Bond movie.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'd just be curious if something's truly pivotal, or if there's some crazy cameo that some people are like, oh yeah, all right.
By the way, your boy hadn't seen No Time to Die, so I just got spoiled.
What?
Yeah, I just never got around to it. This was during pandemic time. I just forgot all about it, dude.
Oh man, my fault. So you had no clue that happened?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I was debating on whether I was going to say it or not on this podcast, but yeah.
Well, yeah,
how am I not going to let this opportunity slide to say you spoiled that shit for me, Bobo?
Oh man, I'm sorry. Well, for what it's worth, when it happens, you see it happen about 20 minutes before it happens.
So yeah, you get a surprise, you get kind of ruined, but not at the very end. Okay.
Well, sorry. I'm just trying to. Now I'm just trying to.
No, man, I'm a shogun. I'm a shogun of cinema, not a BrassReel brother.
Yeah, come on, I'm a BrassReel brother. He's a BrassReel brother.
And listen, man, that was during pandy time. Pandy times were some dark times,
Yeah.
My passion for watching a lot of things was down in the dumpster. I'd just gotten unemployed. Thanks for bringing back dark memories as Maniac.
So now you're getting to know the Anshul and I know. He just comes out there and just starts being like, all right, you know what? I got ninja stars to throw.
Yeah. I had people close to me pass away. And
oh God, here we go. Sorry. All because I spoiled Bond.
No, we passed away, thank God. But I did lose my job right around that time, and I was not in the mood to go out watch any movies. And then you just kind of forget about it, man. Also, a lot of it was a lot of the people that I trust didn't really have good things to say about. Damn, that's a good line. No time to watch. No time to die. But yeah, like they just didn't have a lot of good things to say about it. So my enthusiasm got muted. You know what I'm saying?
I personally thought it was great, man. How big a Bond fan are you in the sense of how well do you know all the old movies and everything?
A huge Bond fan. That's one of the rare times my dad actually did anything with me was watch Bond movies.
Oh.
So,
okay, here we go. More bad memories, huh?
Hey, I know we're going down the sad. I did not.
You didn't like it, huh? I thought you did like it. See, I thought we talked about it and you did like it. All right, so let me just say this. Mm-hmm. Now we're getting off a tangent. That's what we do. It wasn't. First off, it's a Daniel Craig Bond movie, so it's connecting to the other films because that's what his movies did. His movies were the first ones that actually was telling like a cohesive story throughout the films. They were their own movies, but they kept continuing. Mm-hmm. The other movies were just all episodic. So On Her Majesty's Secret Service, the one with George Lazenby. Mm-hmm. All right, that one is one of my
very underrated Bond, by the way. Old George.
Oh no, he was great. He quit. They didn't fire him. He quit. Yeah. No, that and that movie is one of in my top Bond movies. Telly Savalas is the villain and everything, but there's the Louis Armstrong song in there. We've got all the time in the world, and They do a really good job of being like, all right, how can we almost in a weird way remake this movie, but in a way to where we're connecting it and using the plot lines that have been told in the Daniel Craig films. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And then they also incorporate some of the soundtrack from No Time to Die, from On Her Majesty's Secret Service into No Time to Die. It's got Hans Zimmer doing the music. It's got Ana de Armas in it. Man, I really enjoy that movie. I thought it was a really good send off.
So as man got some hot sports opinions here. He did not like the Daniel Craig movies. He tried to like them, but he got nothing from them. And he agrees with you. On Her Majesty's Secret Service is in his top 5. Here's the thing, as Maniac, I like some of the Daniel Craig movies. It seemed like he was on a roll there where every other one was good. You know?
Yeah, well, okay, so here I felt like it's like this. I feel like Quantum of Solace is the worst one.
Yes.
Skyfall was awesome when it came out.
My favorite one.
It's not as good anymore, in my opinion. I've watched it recently. It doesn't quite hold up as well, in my opinion.
I did think the final act was a little bit underwhelming, but other than that, I thought the rest of the movie was good.
Spectre, in my opinion, gets better over time.
Trash.
Okay, see, so that's where we got hot sports opinions. Now, Casino Royale is his best one. Easy, that one's easy to say. Oh yeah, that's the best one.
Yeah,
that one's directed by Mark Campbell, same guy who directed Goldeneye.
When we get the Bloomfield reveal, it's just so like everybody sees it coming. It's like, all right, yeah, listen.
All right, hang on one second. Hang on 1 second. I had to. All right, so you don't think that as Blofeld that Christoph Waltz did a good job?
He's all right. That's honestly top 5 worst Christopher Waltz villain's performances. Actually, I would say it's probably his worst performance as a villain.
Wow. I loved it, dude. I thought it was great.
I mean, as Maniac is agreeing with you, but let's for Christopher Waltz, for his filmography as a villain.
Christoph. It's Christoph.
Whatever. He's all right. Hey, Christoph. We call you Christopher over here in America. All right. Deal with it. Red, white, and blue, bitch.
Whoa.
So, listen. As far as his villains go, like if it was any other actor, great performance. But for Christoph Waltz, it's as good as his Inglourious Basterds turn. Like I feel like you can go down a laundry list of his villains, and that's probably the worst one.
I don't know, man. It very much worked for me. I loved it. Like they're doing Blofeld, and I just loved it.
Yeah, I mean, here's the problem with that we all knew it was Blofeld. Like that's the thing. It's like don't try and make it a surprise. Just come out with it at the beginning. Don't build up this big. It's such an underwhelming. You get this build up like, oh, who are they going to reveal the villain is? And you get maybe this hint that maybe it's something besides what you're thinking is the obvious. And then you get the obvious and it completely ruins the reveal.
So you're saying when he's just like, you knew it from the trailer or you knew it?
Yeah, from the trailer, from the beginning, I think everybody kind of knew that it was him. Right. And if they gone a different turn and give it something different, I think the hardcores might have been pissed off, but the rest of the audience would have appreciated that because you gave them something that wasn't expected.
Okay.
Did you ever play the Arkham Knight video game?
Yeah, I beat it.
Okay, so when you get the reveal, a spoiler. So for those of you that haven't played the game, spoiler warning. When you get the reveal that it's Jason Todd, is that not underwhelming as hell?
A little, because it's like, for me, it's like I read that you were a villain in the comics undercover as Hush, and now this happens again in Arkham Knight. And so for me, it felt like they were doing it twice. Now I get it. There's people that played that game that never read those comics, so it worked for them. But for people like you and me that know Hush very well,
I mean, listen, if you don't know who Hush or Red Hood is, you're not going to know who Jason Todd is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So that's why for you and me, it was like, what? We've done this before.
Yeah, and then they try to hide it at the beginning by saying, "Well, it's not Jason Todd. Trust us." And then they go ahead and say, you find out it is Jason Todd. And it's like, well, that's lame as hell.
Yeah, no, I agree. What they should have done is made a Tommy Elliott. Done a twist. Because remember Tommy Elliott? If it was
some guy. I remember watching on YouTube. Some guy claimed that he had the leaked script and that was going to be Bruce's clone, which seemed lame at the time. But after getting that Jason Todd reveal, I was like, I'd rather you've done Bruce's clone.
That would have been better.
Yeah. Well, it was an Austin Powers ripoff. Thank you, Maniac. His brother. His jealous brother. I was so mad because parents paid more attention to you. Get out of my face, son.
Yeah. No, I mean it's like the
These-
ending of Scream 3.
Some of these writers that write these, parental issues, like you need to have Asian parents.
Just don't believe people would be killing over that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, so with some other things in the news coming up,
Mhm.
you also had some stuff here with John Wick listed.
Long John.
Let's talk about
So
this.
yeah, so there's been the leaked runtime of the new John Wick movie, Per Collider. John Wick is going to have a 2-hour, 49-minute runtime, which makes him the
Whoa.
longest John ever.
That's a lot of shooting and
Long
punching.
John Dong over there.
Oh man, that's a
Long
lot
John
of shooting,
Silver.
punching. Yeah, Long Dong John Holmes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm for it. Anytime you want to give me more John Wick shooting people in the face, I'm all for it.
Now, do you think that means that they're trying to dive more into plotline, or are they going to do something serious in this and step away from the dog, or are they gonna? I'm making a joke there,
Yeah.
or is it just going to be more action?
I think it's going to be more dogs, actually.
Oh no!
I think he's going to go to a kennel.
Pound they killed.
Yeah, he's going to go to a kennel and he's just going to avenge all the mistreated puppies. No, man, I think they know what's up. They know why people want to see those movies. They're not going to trick it up too much.
You know what I want John Wick 4 to do is, first off, we know that it's going to have next level kung fu in it because it's going to have Donnie Yen in it on top of because look, let's face it, Keanu's a badass kung fu artist at this point. If you see what they had to do with the training of the Matrix, and now that he's gone on to do all this, I mean, he's kept it up. You can see behind the scenes of him training now, and it's like, all right, Keanu, you're dope, dude. And him and Donnie Yen, that's going to be some great choreography. But then I want to see them get the Russo's brothers action choreography team that they've been hiring to do all these different movies, because that's the movies that they've come out with after Endgame and Infinity War. The only good thing about them is how awesome their action sequences are.
Yep.
The movies themselves aren't really that good, but the action sequences are top notch. So if they can do like some, like 20-minute long, feel like one take action type scenes in this, that's what's going to set this over the top and make it worth watching after 3 John Wick films. You know what I'm saying?
And the big problem with their movies is, like, I like Ryan Gosling as an actor. He's not an action star. That's not his vehicles, right? That's not the movies he carries. He's tried to do it a couple times. Drive was probably the closest to him being a quote unquote action guy that we've really.
But that was better because of the stylization of it.
Exactly. It's not an action movie at all, right? It's just we kind of buy into him being this loose cannon.
Right.
But it's not really set to be an action. A great movie. Chris Hemsworth, I think he's too pigeonholed by us as Thor.
Yeah, it didn't work for him. Men in Black. Snow White and the Huntsman was good, but then watch what happened when you made that movie without Snow White. Just the Huntsman. Nobody saw it.
Yeah, he's too much Thor in our minds now. Because Chris Helms was the guy you should be an action star. Jacked, good-looking dude. Who, the guy you think would want to see kick some ass. But
it is unfortunate. It's hard not to see Thor.
Yeah, Chris Helms. Yeah, you can't say that when he's made Thor movies. You can say, hey, it's Marvel they want to see, but he's made money. So
yeah, he makes money for sure.
And Extraction, I think out of all those movies, Extraction was the best one. I liked Extraction.
You're talking about the Russo brothers movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was their first real. I mean, they did a Chadwick Boseman one before that, but it wasn't as actiony as Extraction was. Extraction was like, all right, cool. I mean, he barely even talks in Extraction.
Yeah, I like the cast in Extraction. I mean, listen, it could have been better. And it's not like if you're asking me top action movies to watch on Netflix, I'm probably not thinking of Extraction right away. But if you're asking me what I thought about it, I enjoyed it.
But if somebody's going to recommend an action movie,
plus it's
probably not going to recommend a Netflix movie.
Yeah, it's in India, so I might, because I might just be biased like that. Yeah, this is why Ez doesn't like it. He's not used to watching Indians kick ass, right? He used to watch us get our ass kicked to get what we want. But we can kick some ass too, Ez. By the way, he wants to come to the next. You're invited. Ez, you're invited. You bring the British opinions. I'll bring the spice that you can't handle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hell yeah. I can't believe this thing's been down the whole time. Yeah, he's been talking about wanting to get on the show.
Yeah, we'll invite you on, Esmaniac. You know what? Like, we'll invite anybody on.
Yeah, it's gonna, and he doesn't hold back either. The beauty about Esmaniac is he'll just be smoking cigarettes the whole time. Hey, so a couple more things though to get here. Some stuff to do with some streaming platforms losing some content. It seems like.
Yes, sir. I did not create a banner for that, and I don't know why. But
Hey, look, we got all the banners we need. Every logo up there, right there.
yeah, look at that. And plus, I can do this real quick. Watch this. Boom.
Week
Week
stream.
stream. I just thought out of the top of my head, guys. How you
Now,
like
hey,
that?
do you have a favorite platform?
Probably Netflix is the one I watch the most. I don't know if it's my favorite. Actually, yeah, Netflix is my favorite. Real talk.
Funny. Netflix is my least watched.
I mean, it has more of the content I want to watch. And when the problems with what Netflix has geared us to is having a lot of content you want to watch at the tip of your fingers, whereas Disney Plus is a little more strategic with the way they release things, right? And I almost find that for me personally, that's a detriment. Like I want to have a big library of content where I can just veg out on a weekend and watch all your stuff.
Sure.
I don't have to wait. I want to see it all at the tip of my finger. I want to be able to watch it all on the weekend. I don't want to wait week to week anymore. I'm too impatient. I'm ADD,
Yeah.
Holmes.
No, my favorite ones is like I watch Hulu a lot because they have a lot of next day.
So Hulu's got big laundry too. Yeah.
If it aired on TV, likelihood of it being on Hulu the next day is going to be on there, so you can keep up with shows that are current on TV. Amazon Prime I watch a lot of, but a lot of that has to do with I have Shudder through that, and I watch a ton of horror stuff, so that's on there. But be honest, I watch a lot of Peacock. Peacock has a lot of good stuff on there. It's and HBO Max as well. But Netflix I do watch, but I got to say only for like 4 or 5 shows. That's it.
Yeah, well, the problem is that's what's wrong with a lot of people, and that these shows they're pulling these shows off the streaming platforms. A lot of what they're doing, the reason they're doing it is for tax write-offs, right? You pull these shows, you can write off a little bit of loss for your taxes, but where creators are getting kind of frustrated is eating into their already reduced residuals that they're getting for these shows from streaming, right? Now you're pulling the shows early, and now they're not going to get as much residuals, and they weren't getting the same residuals they used to see anyway. However, I would think that the positive side is like that's an issue for creators that knew they were going to get residuals. I imagine there are a lot of creators that are getting residuals with this model that would have never had a chance at getting their content out there prior in the old model, right? So it's probably a little bit of a catch or a little bit of a two-sided story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've always said this for the longest time that Netflix especially has way too much content because they try to put out quantity over quality. Because there's some stuff you can start watching on Netflix, and as soon as you start watching, you're like, ugh, turning this off. And they have a lot of stuff on there that is specifically for foreign countries that they try to bring over here a little bit, and it just doesn't go over the well because let's face it, cultures are different. We don't respond to the same things.
Man, I know a lot of people that have gotten into Korean flick. Listen, Korean
not
content.
saying that it all doesn't work. Some of it does work.
Korean content's been my family. They love their Indian content, Bollywood content on Netflix, and I get that's how I get with a lot of Bollywood as well. But Korean content, I'm glad that a lot of American movie watchers have gotten to see that Koreans have been kicking our asses in movies since about 2000. Like they demolish us in movies. It's not even close, right?
Well, they're really, really creative, man. No question. And when it comes to horror, man, we've pulled a lot of ideas from Korean horror, like a lot.
Yeah, for real talk. And then nobody does revenge movies better than the Koreans either.
Yeah, and I'm kind of looping those into horror because the revenge movies that they do are brutal. Yeah. So I'm kind of like combining that into like Old Boy. That's horror in my eyes.
Yeah. What a messed up movie. I've read the actual manga that's based off of, and one of the rare times that the movie outdoes the source material because the manga is completely different. The ending is completely different. The motivations are completely different. It's kind of weird a little bit. It's a little bit more geared towards the Japanese culture. And so as a Westerner, you don't really get the whole conflict between, why the villain is mad at the hero. Old Boy is just the Korean version is you get it. It's messed up, but you get it.
No, juice.
Yeah.
And have you seen The Audition?
No.
That's one. Just put it on your radar if you come across.
I See the Devil.
I saw the devil.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, again, remember us talking about foreign films? I was like, the ones that I have seen the most of are Korean horror.
Yeah.
Just because I've seen that a lot of American horror was influenced by specific films over there, if not completely stolen.
For sure.
But hey, we're kind of running out of time. Moving on here. I'm not sure if we had much left in
Kevin Feige.
Talk about. Oh yeah, the Feige. I just didn't have a picture pulled up of him. Well, what's going on with the Feigster?
Yeah, so a couple of things, he did an interview recently with I believe it was Collider. I'm sorry, it was EW, and he talked a little bit and talked a little bit about some things, including Fantastic Four and the future of Disney Plus streaming shows. Something we talked about a lot here. So they talked to him and they asked him, "Hey, listen, do you think you're going to be? What do you think is going to be happening with the Marvel Plus shows?" He says, "I do think one of the powerful aspects of being at a Marvel studio is having these films and shows hit the zeitgeist. It's hard to hit the zeitgeist when there's so much product out there and so much quote unquote content. As they say, which is a word that I hate. But we want Marvel Studios and MCU products to really stand out and stand above, so people will see that as we get further into Phase 5 and 6. The pace at which we're putting out Disney Plus shows will change so they can get a chance to shine." They responded by saying, "So when you say the pace will change, do you mean spacing them out or putting out fewer shows a year?" His answer, "Both, I think," which I thought was pretty interesting. He's got another quote about Fantastic Four, but let's talk about this at first. I think this is something we've both been asking for, right?
Yeah, I say we need to slow down on the amount of shows that are made. We
Mhm.
also need to not have so many fillers, and I think that has to do with the amount of shows that are being made, so the writers are stretched thin. We've talked about that. The writer, they just don't. They're hiring anyone. You need to have a show that doesn't have filler episodes. Like make every show compelling, or make every episode compelling, and therefore stretch it out between shows. And also, don't be afraid to tell a long story like this Daredevil deal. Like I have to say, I'm interested to see why they feel it needs this many episodes. If I see by episode 4 that we're already 3 filler episodes in, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, because Moon Knight didn't need to be as many episodes as it was. It
No.
was only like 5 episodes.
So, but if
Yeah.
you do have a good story to tell, I mean,
Well,
then
that's the problem. I
yeah.
think that's the number one problem is number of episodes, et cetera, et cetera. It all comes down to how good is your creative, and creative has been a huge miss. They've taken the wrong type of risks with Moon Knight doing the whole Egyptian gods angle. Now, maybe some of that was because they were forced to tie it with Eternals, and maybe I'm not being fair to the screenwriters, but whatever, whoever either made that decision, whether it was the head of the studios or the writers, they made the wrong choice with that. You know, the direction they went with She-Hulk, once again, they overdid the direction they wanted to go. You know, you can just go down the list of bad choices they made creative wise. And so if you don't hit the creative at all, it doesn't matter if it's 2 episodes or 10 episodes, it's just going to suck. You know, it's going to suck.
Yeah, well, it feels the whole series can sometimes like Moon Knight, that whole series felt filler.
We wish it was Moonlight.
Moonlight, yeah, or Starlight.
Yeah, moonlighting.
Moonlighting, yeah. Well, look, but another thing I was going to say is this right here. So look at that. Back in the day, before there was even Disney Plus at all, any Disney Plus shows, when it was just Marvel movies coming out, you could put up a list of the Marvel movies and be like, there's 2 of those on there that are kind of okay. They're still really good, but the rest of them are awesome. And now you put this list up and you're like, WandaVision was really good. Loki was really good. Hawkeye was pretty good. Miss Marvel's pretty good. Falcon, what about She-Hulk and Moon Knight? Not. It's like, you know what I'm saying? You look at this and you just don't. You have a mid taste in your mouth.
Even What If was very hit and miss.
Yeah,
I know you hate it because it's animation, but
no, but I actually thought that animation was cool and innovative because it looked like new and different animation that I hadn't seen before. But the only one that I can just say that I loved was WandaVision. Loki, still liked it a lot, but WandaVision to me was where it was at.
Yeah, I agree. He also talked a little bit about something we've all been waiting for, maybe Fantastic Four. So let's go ahead and pull up that quote. EW said, "You've got a lot of things in the works. We could be here all day. Are there any other projects we didn't talk about that you're participating in?" Well, we talked a little bit about Secret Wars. We talked about Kang Dynasty as related to Quantumania. The only other one in terms of me personally and my 23-year history is the Fantastic Four. We sort of talked about mutants and that whole aspect to the Marvel world, but Fantastic Four is the foundation for everything that came after in the comics. There's certainly been versions of it, which is being nice. And it says in parentheses on screen, but never inhabiting the storytelling of the MCU. And that's something that is really exciting for us. People will start to hear more about that soon. We plan on being a big pillar of the MCU going forward, just the way they've been in the comics for the 50 or 60 years of Marvel history.
So right there, it's just like, man, it sucks that you have new characters that have made their way before Fantastic Four. Now, I do understand that a lot of that had to do with the rights,
Mhm.
but they have had them for a little while now, and I honestly thought that I understand you need to take your time with X-Men, but I really would have thought that they would have tried to figure out how to get Fantastic Four in here sooner.
Once again, though, this is a concept that we're talking back in the '60s. Fantastic Four was cool. It hasn't been
Can you
really
take
cool
that off your
since.
table?
Yeah,
That's
sorry.
the buzzing the table.
It hasn't really been cool since then, honestly. They've had some good
Fantastic
runs.
Four,
Comic fans have liked it, but as for the general population,
I really enjoyed the Ultimate Fantastic Four more than I enjoyed Fantastic Four for a while. But then once Civil War and all that started happening, I kind of got back into them again.
yeah, I mean, we as comic book characters love the characters, but as far as the general population, like they were really in the public zeitgeist in the '60s. They were cool characters,
Yeah.
Uh, but they haven't really been cool since then. So what I'm saying is, you got to take your time and make sure when you introduce them right. So I'm not mad at it.
So who do you think that is going to be Reed? Because they've already teased Mila.
Mm-hmm.
Who you think in your heart of hearts is going to be somebody that would be Reed? Just a no name?
Maybe, or a not maybe young, but maybe an upcoming actor.
What about the guy from You on Netflix?
Which guy is that? Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, maybe. Like, here's the thing: when a lot of people fan cast, they focus primarily on the looks. Reed's had different looks throughout his comic book life. Like, he's basically had the same hairstyle. That's about it.
Yeah,
So,
I just do. I have to say, visually, I thought Young Grufford looked great as Reed. I really did. Now, those movies, that's something else.
yeah,
But
yeah.
the way he looked, I thought that to me, I was like, I see Reed Richards totally.
But I mean, as long as you get the character right, it's written well, and the performance is good, really the looks are secondary.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I
give a
mean, I
guy
agree.
give a guy a Buzz haircut and give him some great temples, and boom, you're there. That's 90% of his look.
Maybe with the exception of people like Thor or Superman. Those need to kind of like look like what you
But
envision.
we've already talked about it. Why can't Superman be black? We don't care.
No, needs to be there. Like that's a strong jawline. You know what I'm
He needs
saying?
to be a
Like
Chad.
there needs to be some sort of this. Well, it just has to be this alpha look. Like I have to believe that that is a superior dude because we're not supposed to know he's.
Well, the
an
Reed
alien
Richards, we need a nerdy look, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why Young Grufford I thought worked perfectly.
But he's never drawn the nerdy look in the comics. He's always got muscles, and
Nah, not as much as you would have like when they're drawing Magneto with muscles, and he's supposed to be.
But he's definitely not. He's yoked for a nerd. Let's be real here.
Everybody's yoked in comics.
I mean, Susan Storm's supposed to be a nerd, and she fine as hell.
Yeah, I mean, again, everybody's yoked in comics.
Yeah,
very rarely will you get an artist that'll draw them realistically.
But all I want to know is if Ben Grimm is going to wear a yarmulke.
Yeah, he's got to for at least a scene.
Yeah,
and then I'm just wondering how true they're going to go to the story of Reed, Victor, and Sue. That's what I want to know if they're going to make that entanglement that we all love.
Well, I mean, that's funny because in the comics he's mad at Reed for causing the accident that scars his face.
Right.
But listen, motivations that works in comics. I don't know if that was a movie. It was some random movie where a guy was mad because his face got scarred up because of an accident and that he was doing illegally in college when you're not supposed to be doing like experiments, and that's his whole motivation as a villain. I think I'd be like, all right, this is a whack ass movie. You know what I'm saying?
Well, see, I liked in the actual movie with why am I drawing a blank on the guy that Julian?
Yeah.
He
Nip Tuck guy.
Yeah, the Nip Tuck guy. He, as far as again, I think he kind of looked cool. As I believe that could be a Victor Von Doom underneath it all. Not necessarily in the suit, but I'm just saying, but him portraying that character. But I like the idea that once he realized what he could do, he was just kind of always like had a little bit of a selfish side. And so once he realized that he had these powers, he's like, you know what? Screw this company.
Here's an idea, Bobo.
I didn't mind that.
F the origin. Just drop them in. Fully formed. We don't need an origin story.
No, I don't like that.
I agree 100. I don't like. It's kind of a boring origin story. Let's be real.
But I don't like it when something's shoehorned into me. That just feels like I don't care.
You basically did with Spider-Man, and it worked.
No, but that's a little different.
I mean,
That's-
he just got the suit and he got it from Tony Stark. You know how many people I know that are mad at that? Hey, I signed up for Spider-Man, not Iron Boy. You know?
No. I look, they had to incorporate it in there somehow because Sony wouldn't play ball earlier with Andrew Garfield, so they had to incorporate it somehow. Spider-Man's one of those things like Batman. It's like you already know that guy.
Listen,
You know
man,
what I
you
mean?
can
Like-
introduce them and layer in the origin throughout time.
Right, but I don't want to see him just show up out of nowhere in the Doom suit with Doom bots all over the place and everything. To me, I just need a little bit more build up for that to finally happen. But I don't know. I want him to have the horse legs like Warren Ellis drew him in Ultimate Fantastic Four. Do you remember that?
No.
He had horse legs for real.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, but I actually did like that run.
Was all his lower extremities the size of a horse's lower extremities?
You know what?
Did he have that lower horse dong there?
They were like robotic horse legs.
Because if anybody's gonna write that, Warren Ellis is gonna write that. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
He's
Maybe
probably gonna use that line to hit on his female interns.
Good old Warren.
And get me too.
No, I'm just curious as who they're going to cast as Reed and Victor, because that's going to be important. But I do want that Victor, Reed, and Sue entanglement to be there, and I want
we gotta have Dr. Doom in the MCU.
Yes, it's already been too long.
Yeah,
it's already been way too long. It's been too long for Namor, So we'll see. But hey, look, we're already running a little long. I think that's it for the day, right? We got it.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us, peeps. Thanks, as Maniac, for commenting. We had a couple other comments as well. Thank you for joining us. If you want to continue to join us on these live streams or check out our awesome reviews, some of which are up. Bubba, I know you got some reviews up recently, right? What are the reviews got?
Yeah, I did Knock at the Cabin recently, did Infinity Pool recently, and actually I just pinned at the top and reposted Valentine. So you guys go on my channel and check out the review of Valentine. It's as soon as you click on the channel, it'll be there playing. So check it out.
Yeah, we'll try to link some of these to the live stream afterwards. Or you could just go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification to be notified when we drop more. Follow us with some of the socials down at the bottom at Shogun of Cinema on Instagram and on Twitter, patron.com/BrassReel, where we will finally do one of these Patreon episodes. We're just waiting on our third leg to have some time. And Facebook.com/BrassReel as well, TikTok.com @BrassReel. And just remember, when life gives you lemons, what should they do, Bobo?
Make some hot, fresh popcorn.
Who's the master?
Peace.